Jesus was pleased with Simon's answer, and he says to him that flesh and blood did not reveal this to you, but my Father in heaven. And so what I want you to focus in on and try to understand is that there are so many things that people can do or say to try their absolute best to show you the power of God, to show you the will of God, to show you the mercy of God, the love of God. And I can go on with that, but you have to know him for yourself. You have to choose to see him in your daily life. Choose to hear him. Choose to allow him in. Because unless you make that decision to be open enough to see him and allow him to reveal himself to you, you will constantly be confused. You will constantly misunderstand, because you have to spend time with him on your own and solidify the things that you're learning when you go to church and you hear the word from the preacher, or when you watch something, like you're watching something on YouTube right now in this moment. When you watch a video or hear someone speaking, don't just take everything for what you hear or see. Start to build a relationship with him. Simon was able to understand who Jesus was because he spent time with Jesus. And when he began to spend time with Jesus and to know him and to understand him, his heart began to accept Jesus for who he really was. And when his heart accepted Jesus, then his spirit was able to know and to understand who Jesus was. And the Father God in heaven revealed to him the fullness of who Jesus was. It wasn't just a whim. It wasn't logic. It wasn't just somebody, coming by and saying, oh, well, he's probably just a prophet. None of that. And we still hear things like that today. There are still, religions that believe that Jesus was, quote unquote, just a prophet. And we can't just take what we hear and run with it. Get to know him for yourself. Spend time in the word. Spend time in prayer. Spend time in worship. And even in order to be able to do those things better, each one goes hand in hand. You can't have deep worship without really knowing the word. Because the word is what helps you to know the Lord. It's what continues to unfold more and more truth about him, enables your spirit to be unlocked, to be able to understand who he is. Because it's difficult to worship someone or something that you have no idea what it is. And that's what's happening a lot of times is, people, they come into church and they just kind of file in and get with the program, but they don't really know or understand exactly what they're doing. And that's what can kind of form that cult feeling, where you feel like you're just following people worshiping. When the preacher says stand up, you stand up. When somebody says sit down, you sit down. When they sing a song, you get up and sing a song. When everybody says put your hands together, you clap your hands. It's like robotic, and you don't understand what you're doing. But if you begin to develop that relationship on your own, God will begin to reveal to you and give you deeper understanding so that you can have a deeper worship, so that you can have real worship and praise with him and prayer time. And that it doesn't seem, just like this blur, like you're going through the motions and just doing what you've been told to do. And I look at even, at the beginning of this chapter, still referencing Matthew 16, the beginning of this chapter, the Pharisees are questioning Jesus. And, he talks to them about the fact that they always want to see a sign from heaven. They always want to say, well, if it's this, show us a sign. If you're this, prove it. If you're that, prove it. That's always what everybody kind of wants to say. And it's even like that now. There are a lot of people right now that have a hard time believing fully because they always need proof. They always need to see something, just crazy happen in order for them to really zero in and believe. And some people, even when they've seen something magnificent, they still struggle to believe. They still struggle to believe. And so that's why I'm telling you, you have to know him for yourself. You have to be willing to allow God to reveal himself to you. We put up all these walls and just continue to logic ourselves out of it. Well, this doesn't make sense. It doesn't sound real. You keep battling with it. You're not going to find understanding. You're not going to find peace and the wisdom and the word as you should, because you're putting up blockers. Because every time God tries to reveal himself, you find a way to talk yourself out of it being the truth.